Hello, business besties. Hello, business besties. I am so excited that you are here today, and I want to welcome you to the Best Kept Small Business Secrets, the podcast where we pull back the curtain and uncover real strategies that help small businesses thrive. I'm Nicole, your business bestie and coach, and after all of these years of coaching entrepreneurs, I found one thing to be clear, that there is no one-size-fits-all formula for success. Every business has its own secret sauce. And so through these conversations, I am so excited that you're going to discover some powerful lessons and some actionable insights that can help you do the things right now, maybe a little bit differently, working smarter, not harder, and more importantly, grow with purpose. So today, you guys, I am so excited to introduce you to Sarah. She is somebody that you definitely want to have in your business corner. She has been a business bestie of mine from the minute that I met her. So she is the lawyer Sarah, and she is also the founder of Rising Brand Legal and the Legal Shoppe. So where she makes trademarks, contracts, and all things legal accessible, and I say this all the time, but fun, which is crazy. Like, you're merging these worlds that I think nobody thinks can be amazing and together. So Sarah, I'm so excited to have you on the show today. You bring such an energy to what can really feel like a heavy topic. So I know that our listeners are going to walk away with so much value. So welcome.
Yes, so thank you so much. And I love that you said it that way, because who thinks legal could be fun? That sounds terrible, right? Like, anybody that thinks about legal, they're like, that's awful. But I will say on authority that my clients leave our work together saying, okay, I'm actually really excited because that was pretty fun. It's true. It's possible. So just like open your minds, even if you want to shut it down and be like, y'all are crazy. There's no way. Anything can be fun if you try enough.
Or you have the right personality behind it, which you do.
Or if you let it. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. And that's why I wanted you to be one of my first people on this podcast, because not only have I used your services, which are amazing, and we're a freaking game changer in my business, I also got to meet you, and I know who you are, and I know what you do. And I literally, everybody needs you in their corner, because
thank you.
We, as small business owners, you want to just pretend you don't need that, or you want to walk away or shy away from those important things. And I've seen some of your stories. I've seen the things that some of my clients have gone through, and it's not something you want to mess around. And there's easy ways to take care of it, so you're being proactive and not reactive.
Yeah. And it's one of those things like legal and dental work. You don't want to wait till there's a problem. The problem is just exponentially more expensive and painful. And if you can just Nobody likes the idea of it, because here's the deal. Business is fun. Entrepreneurship is fun. Coming up with the cool ideas are fun. There's so much fun about business. Then when you're like, oh yeah, and legal protection, nobody's like, oh yeah, I can't wait for that. That's not the fun, sexy part. I get it. But it can be. It really can be. And the confidence boost and the internal legitimacy boost that taking care of that stuff does for people. And what I'll witness is people that maybe have some imposter syndrome, or have, they're being really shy and quiet about telling the world about what they're doing. And they're just kind of hiding in the shadows and hope people find them. And I can relate to all of those feelings when you're doing things in business. It's a very vulnerable thing to do. Yeah. There's something about knocking out the legal aspect and doing those legal protections that you kind of become the mama bear of your business. Instead of it being something vulnerable about you, this shift happens that you're like, this is mine, and it's freaking awesome, and it's protected, and now I'm going to go do something with this. There's this shift that happens that's so cool to watch from my seat.
I love that, and you're right, my dear. And I feel I remembered this, but when I first, I shouldn't say this because you're the lawyer, but I was
no shame.
I did 4 years of coaching without contracts, who I mentored under, and I just was they were like, no, you don't need to worry about it. It's super casual. Like you're not doing anything like that's going to harm people or whatever. So I didn't do it. And then all of a sudden I came into your world and I was like, oh, should I? Like, I didn't, I mean, you know things, but you don't, like all of my clients had that in place for them, but I was like, oh, I'm different. It doesn't really matter. It's fine. I'm just helping. It doesn't like, but the second I went into your world and I did your contract template stuff, like I think I even texted you that I was like, the game changer that I literally like emotionally felt like you just said, you became the mama bear of owning it and feeling like, no, this is actually real. Like, cause you also put it down on all of the things that I actually am doing and how important it is, but I'm not promising you the world and I'm not your savior either. So like, it was amazing. So I love you so much for so many reasons.
Yeah, but that is one of the coolest shifts to watch happen, whether it's somebody getting contracts or somebody getting their trademark and the way that they're willing to just like scream their business from the rooftops when it's being protected with a trademark versus when they're like, well, I don't want anybody to know about this because I don't want anybody to steal it. And it's these subconscious thoughts that it's not their like business owners are sitting there thinking, I'm too shy. I don't think this is legitimate. They're not telling those stories out loud, but they take this step and then that shift happens and they're like, oh, this is a thing and I'm going to make it a thing.
And I'm going to own it. And that's where I think like my next thing, is some trademark stuff with you because I'm like, I do. And especially as you say that too, I'm like, it just helps you own it, make it more real and more excited and just more official. Cause I've also had, people in my world that didn't take those steps and there's a lot of backtracking. Like you talked about the dental analogy, like, oh, like, or you hear people like my whole language has changed too with my clients. They're like, oh, it's fine. Like I'm in this group and love them to death, but they're like, just start a business, pick a name. It doesn't matter. It's just a business. Like there's nothing you're going to break. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like here's Sarah's card. Like I don't want you to have to go back and like spend this time and then go back and realize like, yeah, there is a lot to it, but it doesn't have to be hard. And that's one of the things for you. Like you talk about like protecting their business. And then you talk about like building your brands with fun and authenticity, which is amazing. So like, what would you say is the biggest mistake that people would make when trying to build all of that and do that? Is there anything you've seen?
Oh, can I talk about me?
Yeah. Permission granted.
Yeah. So this is my second law firm ownership round. If you had met me about 7 years ago, I was retired from being a lawyer and I was never going to be a lawyer again. And forget it. And 7 years later, here I am with another law firm and another legal business. I reserve the right to change my mind at any time. I hope all of you do. I hope everybody does.
It's in the disclaimer. It's fine.
And yeah. But before that, law firm number one, I was trying to be everything I thought everybody else wanted me to be.
Oh, thank you for bringing this in.
And
yes.
I had, and especially a lawyer. I mean, come on. We know what a lawyer's supposed to look like and talk like and act like and what friendships that lawyer's supposed to have and what kind of car she's supposed to drive and what kind of shoes she's supposed to wear. And I did not, I came from nothing. I didn't have family or anybody like that to look at. So I was very much just very stereotypical lawyer. Who is she supposed to be? And that's who I branded myself as, and that's who I attempted to show up as every day. So then that was the expectation on me. And at that point, I created this monster for myself. And it's exhausting to be who you're not. And so burnout, when people talk about burnout, they're like, oh yeah, working too many hours and being in high conflict business and all of that. Yes, absolutely. But the daily burnout, the way it chips away at your soul and energy to work so hard to be maybe something you are, maybe something you're not, but to be this definition. And because you're filtering every word you say and it's so much. And I absolutely burned out and had such angsty, conflict-ridden relationships because that moment the veil came down, that moment I just had a hobby that I enjoyed, that was me. That moment I got the tattoo that I just wanted to have, so many people had opinions about it, and they weren't good ones.
Oh,
And so then I find myself being accused of being dishonest in who I am, being, these character accusations, because the real me shone through for just a minute, and then it's like, oh shit, okay, yeah, oh, can I cuss? Sorry.
yes, you can.
Let me cover that up. But let me cover that up even harder, and it was so exhausting, and it completely burned me out. But also, that's what I defined with being a lawyer. So when I say 7 years ago, I never wanted to be a lawyer again, it's because I thought that that's what it meant. It meant I had to be all of those things again. It meant I had to I kept it a secret that I got my yoga teacher's certification. That was a secret. Nobody could know about that. It was something I loved. It was something that was just for me. I'm not teaching a yoga class out of my law firm, but
I mean, and if you wanted to,
but why the hell can't I if I want to?
absolutely.
So that is, when you ask, like, what's the biggest mistake, that bleeds into everything, because it's wrong for you. So the business is wrong for you. The clients are so wrong for you. You end up having these high conflict client relationships. And you're like, why is this so hard? And it's because they're for that pretend person. They're an excellent client and an excellent personality fit for that pretend person that you're not.
So true.
And the way it bleeds into, you're then putting out the wrong offerings because they're for the wrong people that want the wrong thing. And the way that bleeds into then legal liability, financial issues, team and HR issues. If you have a business partner, problems with them, problems at home, because you come home and you're just like, I hate everything about my life. You don't, it's pretend. It's a story that you didn't write and you don't like. So that, while it's not a legal mistake necessarily, it's a mistake on all fronts to take your business, whatever it is, and define yourself and your business around what you think everybody else wants it to be. And I don't care if you're a business coach or a lawyer or an accountant or an interior designer, that same mistake goes to everything.
Oh my gosh, I love that you say this, because it is, I think, one of the biggest things that I see, especially when people's businesses are stuck or they're not getting to that next level. It's because you're right. Like I was writing notes when you were just talking, because I was like, that's so good. I was like, you are so right. I was like, when you can be your authentic self, right? Like, and everything just flows better, right? Have you read The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks?
Yes, it's been... Yeah. Oh gosh, it's probably been about 7 or 8 years ago, around this time, that I was reinventing this firm. But yes.
Because you think when you're in your zone of genius of what you're supposed to do in your true authentic self, everything does flow better. And you're right. Then it causes kinks in all of everything that you're doing, whether it is your offerings, like you said, or your legal, or any of that pieces. Like, it just doesn't flow at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, like, I think people need to really think about that, and in such a way that people aren't, maybe they do need to shut down their business and take a break and start over, right? But also you can make some little changes and tweaks, and like, what can I do now? What can I take away that would make it feel a little bit more authentic? Like, take the certification for yoga and share it, right? Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I always say, I'm like,
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Yeah, we look for that authentic person. I think that's kind of like the trap we can get in. We're like, you're right. Okay, yep. Today I'm going to be authentically me. Who is that? She's a lawyer. Lawyers wear stilettos. Like, we trap ourselves back into it.
Right. No.
Where it's like, like stepping back and like, don't make it so big. Don't make it so heavy. Let it be oh wow, I really loved this today. The sunshine made me feel so happy today. Let me just like let that be part of who I am. That I love a walk in the sunshine. It doesn't have to be so big, and but chip away at it with those things that are just really you, and you catch yourself smiling and getting a little squeaky in your voice and getting excited.
Yep, absolutely. Because I think too, at the times of my like business growth, and one of the things I want to talk to you about is networking, because you said it's been a game changer for your business. And this perfect segue of like the times that I was just me and I didn't really care, or it was like, I didn't have to have that like, I mean, as I'm wearing today, this little thing, but you know what I mean? Like that same, like, oof, like I am the business coach. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. But it was just me having a normal conversation. They're some of my favorite clients that years later I still have, because I didn't care. It was like just, I had nothing to prove at that point. And so, and I think of the people that I have tried to like impress, or like you want to be this certain person or have this certain level, like what? They were the clunkiest ones that I was like, I think I'm sick today. I don't think I can do our call. Or you know what I mean? So I think you're totally right. So like thinking, Sarah, of you talking about closing down that first law firm, and then like I'd love to hear your sort of like reigniting and coming back in. And like you are, one of your superpowers that I know about you is your ability to connect and network with people, right? So you have this genuine ability to share and help and connect people. So I would love a little bit about hearing from that. Like, how do you have those genuine connections without people feeling like they're selling themselves or you're being that old person?
Yeah. Yeah. And I have to say, like, so it is definitely something I learned from my partner in my first firm. Um, and also like backtracking just a little bit, I don't dare suggest I would have been brave enough to just shut it down. Luckily we had an opportunity to sell it. And
yeah, perfect. Oh yes. And I did know that actually. Yes.
And an opportunity to move at the same time. So the universe was like sprinkling opportunities for me to be brave in ways I probably never would have been. But I did learn that principle of networking from my law partner in that first firm. And he was so freaking brilliant at building those trusting relationships. And it was just something that came naturally to him. I don't know where he learned it, but it came naturally to him. And the services we provided, we were the 30th office on our street to offer those. So we were not unique. And I was telling somebody else this that was recently that was asking about overly saturated markets. Like, do I even dare do it? It's such a saturated market. And I'm like, no such thing. Like, there's no such thing. There's no other you. We were the 30th and we were like 28 years old. What the heck do we know what do we think we were doing? And it was an industry that was very traditional. Like there were easily people in their late 80s still doing what we did. So who did we think we were? But he was so good at that. And I always watched him approach it from a service first mindset and a relationship first mindset. So he never walked in a room thinking, where are my ideal clients? Let me get them in. Let me tell them about what I do. He showed up saying, how can I help everybody here? How can I serve? He, through Rotary Club, he signed up to be on flag committee. So that means he was up at 5 a.m. on every holiday, putting flags out on the streets. Like it was very much this service based and this genuine relationship based. And the other thing we did that I don't do any of the exact same things, but it's the spirit of it that I was like, that felt good. It was one of the aspects that actually felt really good. And I want to repeat it in spirit. Is we would do these massive events that would cost one metric shit ton of money to put on.
That's a good, I like that. I'm going to use that.
And it's metric system. But we would do these massive events, which everybody else did. Everybody else did big events and they're bougie and everybody's in their stilettos and they're at the place that looks like Las Vegas. And we did it up right. But also, we not only invited our ideal client, but we asked all of them, who in the community would you do anything to meet? Like, who do you want to meet? Who would be so valuable if you could walk in a room and meet this person? And My partner would stalk those people out and catch them at a coffee house and be like, oh, there's their Lamborghini. Let me go. Like, I know they're here. And go personally invite those people to our events. And they
Oh
came.
my gosh, I love this.
So
Oh
we
my
would have
gosh.
this thing that was not only sure, like, you know who we are, you know what we do, you know, we want your business, but who do you need? Who do you need in
Uh,
your circle? Who would you not feel brave enough to introduce yourself to? Let's make sure and we give you that opportunity to do that. So even though I don't throw 5-figure events on a quarterly basis anymore, I still try to bleed that spirit into networking. And that's a way that if you feel shy walking into a room, if you're like, oh gosh, I can't, like, I'm an introvert, I'm a shy person, I don't know how to give my elevator speech. If that's where your brain is and you're like,
yeah.
I don't know how to introduce networking into my business, find out where you can volunteer. Find out what nonprofits
Mm,
are adjacent to the business you do that you can give value and volunteer on a committee or sit on the board. Do those things that get you in the room where you're serving from a genuine basis, and
oh,
then it becomes
I love
really
that.
natural meeting the people you need to meet in your business.
That's beautiful and genuine. Like that just makes my heart so happy. Like just because that is the place of like love. Like that is the place of just like having that like literal servant heart that like you're gonna share what needs to be shared, and you don't have that sleazy back of your head idea happening. So
Yeah.
that
Like, how many people can I shove my card down their throat and no, don't worry about any of that. And also, two truths. You're showing up with a servant heart, but you're also owning it's okay for it to be about the money. It's okay to genuinely serve and say, I'm in these rooms to serve because it'll help me grow my business. That's good. That's okay.
absolutely, because people don't know what they don't know. So if somebody's not bold enough to share what they do, like they're never going to know. Like if we hadn't been in a room together, like I would never have known what you did and how you do it, right? So you have to have that level of sharing and then compassion. And
Hmm.
I would say we're not nonprofits, so you do have to have that like right? Like
Yeah.
level of that. But when you come at it with that like genuine, like, hey, how can I serve? I love that. Like just walking into a room, like I'll be totally honest, like networking is my least favorite thing, or like any of that stuff. Like, oh my gosh. Like, and when you filled out the pre-questionnaire and you're like, I love it. And I was like, oh,
Tell me
like,
more.
I know. But I think some people have a natural like drive for it. But when it comes from a place of, again, it's like, I think coming back to what you said at the beginning, like you feel like you have to be a certain person, a certain thing. And when you're trying to like be that mold and you're not just showing up like, hey, this is me, I'm going to serve and share and like let you know, like, this is how I can help you. I think like
Mhm.
that's just such a beautiful blend. And I hope anybody listening can take little nuggets from that and realize too that like you can have fun and don't take yourself too seriously. Like,
Yeah. And knowing that there's different you just said something that clued me in of like, also know there's different kinds of networking. So I
yeah.
think the same way that we can get that definition of ourselves and be like, I have to be this and this, this. I won't name names because I'll hurt feelings, but there are certain very structured style of networking groups
Yeah.
that feel, to me, in my opinion, feel very transactional. Um,
Yeah.
Maybe because that's what the structure literally says. And when I get invited to those, I catch myself with this visceral reaction. I catch myself being like, oh,
Yeah.
no, thank you. No, no. And the person on the other side is like, no, it's been great for my business. This one's different. You should try it. I'm like, hard stop. So there's going to be some rooms that just aren't for you. And
Yeah.
that's okay too, but it doesn't mean, so for me, networking looks like big rooms with a lot of people, opportunities to serve and meet people from like all walks of life, and
Yeah.
and have an opportunity for, I recently learned my Enneagram, and like have that
What are you?
opportunity to a
I love this.
5.
Okay, I can see that. I can
I'm
totally
Yeah.
see that.
So have the opportunity to learn and grow and take leadership, but not ownership. Like, let me
Yeah.
lead. You own it. You own it. I don't want to like be in charge, but
Yeah. Yeah.
um, love that. The more transactional rooms, that probably fits other people. And do that because it's structured. It tells you exactly what to say and what to do when. If that's a better
Yeah.
fit for you, do that. But you don't have to narrow like networking means this. If you can just let it be broad, it means finding relationships that work for you.
Yeah, I agree. And you're right. And I think like a lot of people do compartmentalize that structured, like, oof, like here you go, you have 30 seconds to spit out your best kept secret or whatever you want to share with people. Right. And it's like that, like I literally will be like, nope, I'm at home in my pajamas and sorry. Like it's not me. But some people do. I have multiple clients who love it. And like, that's their jam because they like that control and that container. But I think when you take that away and you're like, it is just relationship building and expanding what you do and who you are in that fun way. Like, I love that so much. And I think when you find yourself in those rooms that get you excited, like that's where you find your ideal people too, because they're going to be just like you. And then it's going to make it be more fun. Because I guarantee I'm not going to walk into one of those rooms and find anybody that I'm going to be able to help because I'm going to be like, no, I don't have structure. I don't have that. Sorry.
I don't do that. I don't have business cards. I have failed before I even walk in the room because I don't have business cards.
Yeah, that's true. I don't either. I did at one point, but now that you say that, actually, yeah, that's a good, but yeah, because that's such an old way of thinking about things too, in some aspects, like just find me on Instagram. I don't know. Like,
and that full circles, I feel like you just hit the perfect full circle of the authenticity. You find the rooms that when you're in them, you feel like you're not filtering anything. You feel like you can get excited about and talk about and share whatever's fun to you in that day. And the people you're interacting with have the vibe. And if it doesn't, then, networking isn't out the window, but
Right.
you don't keep going there. You don't keep trying to shove yourself in that box. You find the next room.
Yeah, it's so good. And this is what I love about you. Like when you talk about like fun and bringing all the things, like we just talked about networking and you are a lawyer. Like I love like your capacity to have different layers of things because like that's what I think makes a great entrepreneur too. Like you have many facets, like you have your expertise, but then you're able to blend in these other things. And honestly, like I feel like you have and after seeing all the businesses you've been in, like I feel like you probably could easily be a business coach because you have so much, you've seen such good, bad, ugly, all of the things that I bet you have quite a bit of input that you can help people. And I think you said at one point, I think during one of our meetings, or I don't know, like, but you're like, I'm an entrepreneur first, an attorney second, or something along those lines.
Yeah. Exactly. I identify as an entrepreneur that being a lawyer happens to be my expertise.
Yeah.
But I see everything goes through the filter of being an entrepreneur.
Yeah. And then, but what I love the most is like you have that legal lens that comes with that. So like you can allow people to create all of these magical things that they want in a way that is protected, that a way that they're in control. And then it gives them that freedom and that inhibition to keep going and to not feel so stuck and heavy. And because I think when people don't know, that burden weighs so heavy on them. So with all of the things that you offer and do, you're able to, I can make it fun, which is crazy to me. Like you just like, it really is. So like if I had to ask you like somebody just getting started in their business, like what is one thing that they should take? What's one legal step that they could take that would be easy for them?
First legal step, like super simple, form your LLC. Form an LLC. Super short, vanilla answer for why that's important is the LLC makes your business a separate person from you. So if worst case scenario, your company gets sued or has any kind of legal liability or debts or anything like that, that's owned just by the company. It doesn't bleed to you personally. Now there's some other more complicated, not like, it would make for instant boring podcast, but there are other steps to bolster that. But step one is any state, you can go on your state's website. Sometimes it's Secretary of State. Sometimes it's like, for example, in Arizona, it's Corporation Commission. But you can find your state's official website. Now you Google it, you're going to get all the like cheapo services you can do it yourself on your state's website. Create that LLC. That is a legal step to make your business a separate person from you. And then flow from there. Keep your money separate. Have a separate bank account. And then look at the relationships you have, client relationships, or if you hire a contract worker, have contracts with them to really spell out what that relationship is and isn't, who gets paid when, what you have to do, those things.
Which I think, and that step too is even if somebody's growing, right? Like if they've formed their LLC and then they're in that space where they're wanting to bring in people, like that, I feel like is just golden, because even though you think things are fine or you think it's going to be okay, you say something or you put it, it's fine until it's not.
Yeah. Everybody's getting along until they're not.
Yeah. And I think that's
getting along is such a great time to do a contract, because everyone's like, oh yeah, I'll agree to that. Oh yeah, perfect. This is great. That's the lens to get an agreement through. Not,
oh my gosh, yes.
I'm freaking pissed at you. Let's line out what our agreement is. And now you're like mad about every little word.
Yeah, I saw that happen real time not that long ago. And it was hard. It was really hard to like watch, and because you care about everybody involved, but you're like, this didn't have to be this way. Right.
And when you're a third party, when you're on the outside looking in, you can see that there's probably not a bad guy. And when you're in 100%. It, the other person's obviously very much the bad guy.
I know.
Come on.
100%.
Obviously, they're such a jerk. But when you're outside looking in, you're like, there's no bad guy. They just came at this with different expectations. They remembered different hot button points, and they just remember how things went differently. And now that's a really big problem. Yeah. But while you're getting along, if you can put in the things, you're collaborating on this agreement now. Especially in my mind, I'm thinking like a partnership or something like that, or a collaboration between two businesses. Say two coaches want to co-create a course. You want a collaboration agreement for that, because you are coming at this from different experience. The odds of you always being on the same page are so slim.
Right.
And so it can be a great relationship, but let's actually spell out together everything we want that relationship to say. So when the time comes that we remember something differently or our priorities are different, it's very easy to go back and say, what did we put in here? And it just takes these argument topics that can blow up into a war. It just takes those topics off the table. We may still disagree and be a little pissed at each other, but we're going to see what we originally agreed to and go,
what we said.
Fine, let's do that. And then we can move on. You can move on from things and have so many fewer blow ups because we agreed to this when we were happy with each other.
Beautiful. Genius. Okay, so let's talk a little bit, because I do love all of the things that you do. You have something new coming out that I would actually want to hear about, because I don't know yet. I just saw the thing. But let's talk about, like, for just a second, if somebody wants some contracts, like you have, your Legal Shop is amazing, but like when would somebody use the Legal Shop versus like coming to you as an attorney to walk them through some of the contract or some of the things? Like, can you give a little insight on that?
The Legal Shop is very much designed for newer businesses. Okay. And that doesn't, that easily can be your 3 to 5 year business. Or I have one client that she screams it from the rooftop, so I'm happy name dropping. Haley Westfall loves the Legal Shop. She is a very established business owner, but she has very uncomplicated legal relationships with the various businesses. She's a serial entrepreneur, does a ton of stuff, but she has notably uncomplicated legal relationships with a lot of things. So with those, and like I said, I'm happy. I feel comfortable name dropping her because she talks about it on social media all the time.
That's how I found you, was through her stuff.
Yeah. But for those uncomplicated relationships where she's like, I'm doing coaching and this is exactly what we're doing. I'm running this event and I want your basic coverage for all the things under this event. She goes to the Legal Shop and she loves it because she can understand it. She can fill it in. She can grab and go.
Yeah.
I've had a couple of people be like, hey, I bought this Legal Shop contract, but like I have really complicated client relationships. I'm like, well, a template's not ever going to be for you then.
What made you?
They're really amazing templates, but they're templates. So,
Okay.
and for those, those come up and I'm like, okay, you already bought the template. You can hire me for an hour of my time and we can go through and customize some stuff. So that works. But those are the times when you're like, I have so many moving parts and so many unique aspects to the way this relationship runs. A template's just never going to be for you. Right. And it's not saying your business isn't, if a template works, I'm not saying your business isn't unique. We all have amazing, unique businesses, very impressive things, but it just comes down to like the nature of that relationship. So if you have just a lot of moving parts, that's the time that you want one-on-one legal counsel. You want to talk through like, hey, I'm doing this really weird thing I've never even seen in my industry. What are the problems that could come up? How should we shake that out in an agreement? That's something you want to be working one-on-one.
Makes sense. That makes total sense. I love that so much. I love how your brain has all of this capacity for both. And then I just want to touch base on this because I'm selfish too. Because I want to move next into like trademarking and all of that. Like just give a little rundown on how you do that with people, because I think I actually know a lot of people who are on the cusp of that too. And it should be part of their world. And so I would love for you to just share a minute on that too.
Yeah. So quickly, the trademarks have not been that important for businesses for that long. Now, of course, like since the beginning of the legal system in the US, companies like your Coca-Colas of the world, yes, it's been very important for them.
Right.
But I've represented businesses for 15 years, and it's only been in the last probably 5, 7-ish that I'm like, oh no, everybody needs to look at this. And here's my theory why. I think it's about social media. Yeah. I think it's where 15 years ago, your local roofer could, as long as that name was available in their state, like you've got your local roofer in Texas. If the name's available in that state, they're not looking at crossing state lines, and who cares if another roofer in, even one state over in Oklahoma has the same name. It's really just not going to come up, and it's fine. Well, we had websites that was just kind of like a necessity, not so much a place that we drove business from. And it's really only been somewhat recently in the history of business that social media is clutch to your business. And that means, and it's like a marketing tool. That means people everywhere are seeing your business. And that means, maybe not the roofer, but most people that would otherwise maybe just have local business, they're getting people coming from all over. So it means that name protection is important from all over. It's not just the big companies. And twofold, you need to make sure when you're naming your business, you're not signing up for a lawsuit. You're not signing up for a business in Oklahoma that's already been operating under that's already been taking clients from all over the US saying, that's been my name. You're taking from me and you better stop. Legal demand letters are not fun to receive. So that's the first one, making sure you're not stepping on anybody else. And then the second part is, as you build this brand, as you build a name for yourself, making sure nobody else pops up to say, hey, whether, I'd like to give people the benefit of the doubt and just be ignorantly. Like they didn't know you had your business, but now your clients are accidentally finding them on Instagram and not you. Maybe that, but there's a lot of ripoffs too. I've had more clients that I'm comfortable with have somebody see their name and have somebody else in their sphere put like not enough of a twist to it and rip it off. And that's where it's so important to protect with a trademark. It's a legal process. It's not like an LLC where you just plug in the name. If it's good, click the button, you're good to go. There are attorneys at the federal office that scrutinize every trademark application. You very much want a lawyer doing that with you. There's discount services, just like you can find discount services for anything else. Usually by the time you move through and then you have to hire a lawyer later to fix problems that can't be fixed and tinker with that discount service, you usually don't end up with much of a discount at all. Maybe you ended up going the other direction because it was harder than if the lawyer just did it for you to begin with. Yeah. But that's kind of the quickest as I could do rundown of how it works. And it protects your name. Trademarks protect your brand, your slogan, your logo. The very official scientific way I tell clients to evaluate, do I need a trademark, is how bad would it suck if somebody else ripped off this brand. And
Mm.
truly, some clients are like, I don't actually really care. The brand isn't it. I'm it. It's all relationships. I only 100% of my business is referral based. Social media, advertising, that kind of thing. That's not where it is. It wouldn't suck if I had to quit using my brand tomorrow. Well, that's probably not worth the legal investment for you.
Right.
But if your answer is that would suck so bad, then let's
Have a
take
conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, that makes total sense, because you just think some people, you work so hard. And I've heard horror stories too of people buying people's programs and then recreating the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want to put energy into that, but you also be one and done. Just protect yourself. There's no reason to have that in the back of your head that it could even happen. So
Yeah.
I think that's one thing I've learned from you too. Okay. Now I want to hear about your new Run That by My Lawyer. I'm super excited about this.
Yes. I have had the idea of some kind of subscription-based something. Just how do we make this feel even more accessible, even more easy to say, yes, I'm going to be protected, and not, oh gosh, let me just wait till I get my next influx of revenue before I take care of legal protections. And being 100% transparent and honest, and take this from the entrepreneur's seat, it has to make sense for you and the client if you're going, whatever offering you have. And that's where I've been really sitting with this. And I'm like, in my mind, any kind of subscription, I was like, okay, I've got to give them unlimited access to me. That was just this predetermined definition I had in my brain. And I'm like, I can't come up with a number that makes sense for both me and the client. I can't come up with that. $100 a month, I would need at least 50 people signed up for that. Can I make that make sense where 50 people have unlimited access to me? Mm-hmm. And does that I can't make the math. So that was my peek behind the curtain. And I hope you take a lesson from, anybody takes a lesson from, you're coming up with your programs and your offerings. It has to make sense for you and them. It has to make sense. And if you are going to be killing yourself for not enough money, it's a no.
It's a hard no.
It's a hard no. And in a moment of meditation, I redefined it. I was like, why am I saying it has to be unlimited access to me? That's weird. That's weird. And
that was your unauthentic self, right? That was who you thought you should be. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Does anybody want that? Some people might.
We can do. So it's still a subscription model to make legal feel accessible, make you not hesitate on, I need to run that by my lawyer. I want to feel empowered I need to run that by my lawyer. And my next thought not be, oh shit, that's going to be thousands of dollars. So it doesn't have a comma. So it's in the low hundreds. No comma, no drama.
Oh, that's good. How have I not heard that before?
It's always been my legal philosophy. When people are like, I'm going to sue them on the principle, I'm like, no comma, no drama. Don't. But then it says, okay, you're going to need X number of legal services. I need my contracts checked once a year. The things I'm going to need, it's going to add up. So let's do that. I allow rollover hours. I'm like, I think I'm going to allow up to 8 rollover hours, because I don't want you sitting being like, oh my gosh, what am I paying for? I didn't even use this. I want you to feel, and I lost it. I want you to feel confident of, okay, I am predetermining and saving up my legal assets so that when I need that contract overhaul, I know I can just run it, or somebody presents a contract to me. I feel so confident that I can just be like, let me run that by my lawyer. And it hasn't been this gut wrenching investment. And because of that, because those are my ride or die clients, they also then get a discount on additional hours if they need it. They get a discount on things like trademark services. So they're really investing in their business in a way that feels doable for them and works for my business. It's okay for it to be beneficial to my business too.
100%. Oh my gosh, this is where I love you. Like your hats and all of the things that you can merge and do and create. Like you are truly like, that's beautiful. I need that. I want that. I feel like everybody should have that, really. Because
and that's where my thought was like, what do I want people to be able to think? Where do they sit and pause? And the pause is always, my clients have told me the pause is always, I knew I needed to run that by my lawyer, but like,
you get
I didn't want to bother you.
Yeah.
I didn't. Some of it, they don't want to bother me. I'm like, girl, please bother me. My business needs you to bother me.
Right? For real. And then those things that you're thinking about not bothering, like those are the things that are going to cause the issue down the road that are going to blow up on you. So like, yeah, be proactive. This is genius. Is it out yet or is it coming or where is the status of it?
It is. If somebody were to contact me today and they're like, I need run it by my lawyer, I would make sure it was available to you tomorrow.
Okay.
But it is fully developed up here. The systems, my team is waiting for me to tell them some execution systems. So there's a very complicated answer for yes to whatever.
I love that though. You are the epitome of an entrepreneur. Yeah, it's ready. It's good. You want it tomorrow? We'll work overnight. It's fine. It's good. Which is the middle part is what I love to help people do, and that execution and that piece. So like, oh my gosh, Sarah, truly, like this is amazing. You have brought the perfect mix of strategy, insight, fun, just like I knew you would. Like this is so good. You've taken this heavy topic that doesn't have to be heavy, and can be fun and delightful and really empowering. And that's the thing I think that I've taken away from you so much is like, I'm business empowerment coaching, but like, I didn't know the level of empowering I needed until I met you. So I'm super grateful to have you. Thing. But truly, that's super, super genuine. And I want that for everybody listening because you don't need to live without that knowing and that security. Like we work too hard to get where we're at to not know the things that we don't know. So let you take it over. So for people that want to follow you, find you, can you just give them all of the information? I'm going to put it on all the things, but where's the best way for people to come find you too so they can experience your magic?
The best catch-all is Instagram at the lawyer Sarah. So it's not hard to remember and find. And
her Instagram is amazing. Your Instagrams are my favorite. Like I literally, all of your stuff is so good. You just have such a good, again, I think because you're not that typical attorney lawyer that like is stuffy, like you're freaking fun. You share, I've learned so much from just your stories.
I have so much fun on there. I cringe out my kids. So that's how you know you're doing the right thing when your kids are like,
and you have boys. So they're especially like, mom, but you do an amazing job. And you wear cute jewelry and you do all the things too that I'm like, oh, I'm always like, wait, where'd you get that? Like you have
Rad and Ray. It's always, if it's jewelry, it's always Rad and Ray.
I subscribe to them now. I've yet to buy, but you're right. Like but you're the fun. Like that's what I love about you. You're so well-rounded. There's so many things. Might you have a cute piece of jewelry? Yeah. Might you have this like nugget of things that are coming down the chute that people need to know legally? Yes. So sorry, I did not mean to interrupt, but you definitely need to follow her if you don't. So Instagram,
if you want to hear bad words? Yes.
Amen.
That may be why I've been told that may be why my reach isn't always where I want it. But
hey, you are being who you are, and I love it. I think it's perfect. If you're not gonna, you don't need to appease the Instagram gods. It's fine.
I will just revel in my 1,000 follower club and love it. I'm
not much above you, but I feel like it's quality over quantity, right? Like if you have good people, but you have 2 Instagrams, so that's where I cut you off. But you have
so the lawyer Sarah and the Legal Shop. I'm a little bit embarrassed. I don't do as well on the Legal Shop as I should. So I need to give it a little bit more love, but the lawyer Sarah and the Legal Shop, because the Legal Shop is very much for that, that business. And from the lawyer Sarah, there's links to so my link in bio takes you anywhere you could possibly need to go. It'll take you to Legal Shop. It'll take you to a trademark consult. I share about the rooms I'm in and the networking I do. So if anybody's like, well, whoever vibes with her would vibe with me and I want to meet them, watch for that because I'm always sharing about the rooms I'm in and I'll shoot me a DM, come as my +1 and we'll meet at the door and then go have a great time.
I love this. I love that so much about you. Like that is truly your superpower, is just you are an authentic, amazing, good human who happens to be really smart and a lawyer that can help people in ways they didn't know they needed. So I am blessed to have you on my team as one of my business besties. So, and I think like
me too much, and I'm grateful and humbled. But I love
truly,
you.
I mean that in the best way. And to think about this, I'm like, oh man, the podcast is called The Best Kept Small Business Secret. So like, what would you say if we had to close this out with like, what would you, I mean, I know I asked you the question and we've talked about all these things, but what would you say if I make you like on the spot to answer? What would you say?
On the spot, best kept business secrets. I know we already covered it, but it's got to go back to the network. That authentic, be yourself, make business bestie friends, do exactly what Nicole is doing for you, and go make those business besties. It's like having 100 unpaid salespeople screaming about your business off the rooftops. So go meet those people, make those friends.
I love it so much. And then be legally protected when you do. That's all it is.
Yeah, sure.
Yay. Okay, seriously, thank you. I'm going to have you back on because I know there's so much more we could talk about. This has been the longest podcast I've done, and I'm like, it flew by. So I appreciate you so much, but I'm definitely excited. Thank you for today, and I cannot wait to have you back.
Thank you. We'll talk soon.
Yes.